Can't hear yourself think at the moment. Oh, I can hear it, yeah. I'm getting the feedback out as well because I'm hearing myself back. Well, it's gone quite. It's quiet now. Testing 1 2 1 2. Yeah, but I've still got my voice coming back at me. Just making it overly complicated. Are we just making it overly complicated? Oh, there we go. Someone's gone across the gravel. Are we just making it overly complicated? Oh, there we go. Someone's gone across the gravel. Are we just making it overly complicated? Oh, there we go. Someone's gone across the gravel. Oh, ah. Are we just making it overly let's have another go. We've just 10 seconds of qualifying remaining. Hello, good evening, and welcome. Let's have another go. You can hear us out there in YouTube land. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Race Club pre-season event, which is being held at Nürburgring. We've got some 20-minute races for you tonight with short qualifying, so we're going to have a quick turnaround of races for you tonight with short qualifying. So we're going to have a quick turnaround of races for you tonight with short qualifying. So we're going to have a quick turnaround of races for you tonight with short qualifying. So we're going to have a quick turnaround of races. Is it picking up off the mic off here? Apologies, we're having a few technical issues here, as you can probably tell in the background. And it appears we are getting a bit of feedback out there. So if you could tell us what the quality of the stream's like, that would be appreciative. We're just having a quick look. Let's have a quick look down at the qualifiers while we're just trying to sort out our little issues. We've got Lager Funny in first place on a 156.5. Driver, very experienced, particularly in that Bentley. Has done an awful lot of online racing. I've raced against him myself. A very, very quick driver. Second place, Chicken Paxo. That's Ben, who actually organises this series, and he's just 0.16 off the back of Lager there, and he has just come fresh from winning the Aston Martin Challenge that Race Club has run. And then Jürgen, that's DB Kung, who is in fourth. Oh, sorry, I'm skipped over Chris Vidub in third, which is a cracking performance because Chris runs off mobile data whilst racing in his truck using a controller, so he has all the odds against him and he's still able to pop it in third place. And then DB Kong, as I mentioned, in fourth, Bazuk's in fifth, Banff is in sixth, and then in seventh we have DRE VR46. That's Aaron, who I know racing from GT7. He's another very quick driver. And then we have Whitesnake in 8th, JR, which is John Riley, in 9th. So we are just going to quickly update a couple of things to make sure we've got everything where we want it to be, because I want to be on our leaders and I want to be on the helicopter shot. So excuse me tonight, it's not the slickest of performances, but I am hoping that by the time we get to the race, we will have things up, running and sorted. So a couple of drivers still out there on the circuit, just trying to see what Chris Feeds are. They're not showing them as back in the pits, but they are in fact back in the pits. So we are just waiting for this practice session to wrap up. I'm going to hop on with Chicken Paxo, who will be starting in second. We have moved on a bit tonight because we have got aerial shots. So hopefully that is going to provide a bit better coverage of the start of the race. So what else we've got coming up for you with Race Club? Well, tonight there's some 20-minute races, which is just our pre-season test. And then come next week, we hit the ground running for Season 5 of Race Club. We've got a full grid. Everybody's been very keen to sign up. So we are hopeful we are going to be able to bring you some cracking racing. We've also got quite a range of drivers as well. So we're hoping with a new race format of one 20-minute race and one 40-minute race, this will give the people that maybe, haven't got quite the out-and-out speed, a bit of strategy, may well get them to come into play. So we are looking forward to that. Now, I'm hoping out there everything is sounding good. If you could give us some feedback out there, that would be very appreciative. We just got 45 seconds until the race is going, and I'm thankful that I was worried we'd lost all the cars off the grid. But no, it is rolling down, and this is quite handy because it's going from the back to the front. So that's In the Lexus there is John Riley, that's R80. And then in front of him is White Snake. He's there in the Bentley, and alongside him, sorry, that it's confusing me. On the right of your screen is a VR46 in the Aston, and then that's White Snake in 8th on the left. And then up next to the two Bentleys of Bazux and Banff. Now I'm hoping this is going to catch up with the drivers at the front for me. Yes, it is. Excellent. And we are away, and we're on with Lager Fanny. I'll tell you what, we're going to jump to Chicken Paxo as the drivers go there, try and warm their tyres up. Okay, a bit of feedback there from Bazix. He says I sound great. I don't quite believe that, but I'll take it. I know what he means. So let's just get ourselves into the shot that we want to see for the start, because we want to go aerial, don't we? Just like that. So we are going to return to the garage. No, we're not, because we can't. And we are just going through the settings. God, it's a good job we had this practice tonight, because it is finding out a few bugs. So that's Chicken Paxo there in the lime green Audi, and just jumping in front of him there in the, what can I say, army green Porsche. That is Chris V-Dub, and then just behind him in the Ferrari is DB Kung in the blue car there. So that's our leading pack. Unfortunately, we are stuck on this shot until the drivers cross the line. So hopefully none of them drop out, because that does cause me a few issues from the commentary box, because suddenly I'm looking at a car that's stuck in the pits or in the gravel trap or something similar. So that is obviously not ideal. So just to remind you, this is a 20-minute race, lights the flag, no pit stops. So it will be a full-on sprint, and depending on how things go, we might have a couple more for you after this one. So don't worry about the sight there of Chicken Paxo and Chris V-Dub cars appearing to mate. During the warm-up process, they can overlap just while they're sorting out their tyre temperatures, trying to get the brakes up to temperature by accelerating and stopping, and there goes Chicken Paxo. Oh, I think the guys are playing around here, because they're all trying to get onto the same spot of the track, and they're trying to make me say something to do with Lager's ID, which is humorous and probably bannable from YouTube's version. So here we go. These are all the guys just trying to get into their 2x2 formation as we head up through the final chicane. And Chicken Paxo just nipping out a little bit in front there. So we just got the final corner, and then they'll have to keep position, and then as they work their way to the start line, they will have a maximum speed of 70 miles an hour, and then the lights will go green and we will be away. So any second now, the lights will go and we will be off. Here we go, lights are green, and Chicken Paxo on the outside. Looks like he's got the jump on Lager down to the first corner. He pulls across in front of Lager, blocking the Bentley. Can he get it on the brakes? Lager sweeps out wide, trying to go around. The background looks like a little bit of action. Was Chris V-Dub tagged there? No, he wasn't. So here we go. Through the spectator section, Chris V-Dub in the green Porsche trying to go around the outside of Lager, but can't quite make it happen. So Chicken Paxo still out the lead, Lager second, Chris V-Dub third, DB Kung fourth. So it seems, apart from the top two, it stays fairly much in grid order. So here we go. Down to the S's.
Now, interestingly, Chicken Paxo does seem to have got a bit of a jump there on Lager. And of the two drivers, Lager is normally the quicker of the two, so I am surprised that he's able to pull away. Maybe he's found something. I think he's changed to the Audi this season, so I think he's found something maybe a little bit different in that car. Looking behind, let's just make ourselves movable up and down the grid. Just bear with me a second. So, looking back, it all looks fairly line astern. Everyone's still... Oh, Lager going deep there at the S's. That will have cost him time as well. Maybe he hasn't quite got the heat yet in those tyres on the big Bentley. But Chicken Paxo's pulled out a second lead already on this first lap. So just looking back to see who is close to who. It looks like Bazert in this Bentley is quite close to DB Cook. In fact, looking back, VR46 looks like he's quite racy up behind the other Bentley as well. So here we go, round a complete lap one. So just under 18 minutes to go, so we're going to have about a 10-lap race. So Chicken Paxo at the front, still pulling out. He's got a 1.5 second lead already. So he seems to be gapping Lager rather than it being the other way around. So let's have a look. Who's got anything happening closeness-wise? Looks like R80 is possibly dropping off slightly at the back. But we'll stick with this about at the moment. I think Bazert looks quite racy on the back of DB Kung for 4th place. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a risk and we're going to hop on board with Bazert. Oh, there we go. That's very, very tight. The right-hander as we come down towards the hairpin. Now it's down here towards the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. This makes your braking quite tricky. This is an overtaking opportunity. It's also a chance to get it wrong and run wide onto that gravel left. And here we go. Getting the power down as we work our way back up the hill. Taking a chunk of that curve on the right. Here we go. Oh, missing the apex there, Bazert, by quite a distance. So whereas he was under the rear wing and the Ferrari of DB Kung in front just now, he just seems to have dropped off now through these S's here. The exit of this is so important because this controls your speed all the way down to the chicane, which is one of the overtaking opportunities. There we go, in the slipstream. Can we do anything this time? Bazert's right under the rear wing of the Ferrari, but the Ferrari sticks over to the left. DB Kung has got it covered as they come into the chicane. But he's a little bit scrappy through there, and Bazert has got a better exit up towards the final corner. He's down the inside, and we see DB Kung in the mirror, and he's got the move done. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Can DB Kung come back? He's right under the rear wing of that Bentley, but I don't think he can. I think that's job done from Bazert's point of view there. He's going a little bit defensive into the first corner, but no, that's the move done there. So next up to DB Kung will be Banff in the other Bentley, who has pulled quite a gap out now on JR80, because it looks like we've had a little bit of action further back. Let's just move back to the other drivers. So just keeping an eye on up front. Lager is about just under a second now behind Chicken. But looking back, oh, Whitesnake has gone to the pit, so it looks like he's had a problem there. That's why he's dropped out of, I think that was 7th place, no, possibly 8th place in front of R80. So he presumably has had some kind of problem. So he's gone to the pits. The lead pack of Chicken Paxo and Lager seem to be pulling away. They've now got a 2-second buffer between them and Chris V-Dub in the Porsche in third. But now he's got his tyres up to temperature, his brakes up to temperature. Lager is now seriously on the case of Chicken Paxo in the lead. It's really just a case of where can he get past. Just looking back quickly, DB Kung was very close to Bazert there, but I think the gap has now sort of drawn out. So back to the leading pack. So Lager still half a second off the back of Chicken Paxo. Now the pace of these two guys, it's going to be very difficult oh sorry, the closeness, I should say, of the pace of these two guys. It's very difficult to know where he could come up with an overtaking manoeuvre. Now, I think the most likely thing is Lager will try and pressure Chicken into a mistake. So let's have a quick look, see if we've got any other action down the field at the moment. Looks like we're just looking at R80. I was just spotting there seemed to be, yeah, R80 has got by VR46. So VR46, that was Aaron. He did start a little bit further up. He does seem to have dropped back. He was behind, I think, DB Kung at one point. So he has dropped back quite a way down the field. So I don't know if he's made a couple of little mistakes. I know he said he was getting his eye back in with the ACC, as he's very much has been a GT Sport and GT7 racer. So he's getting his eye back in with ACC. So we'll go back to the battle for the lead. Coming down just under 13 minutes to go. And 3 laps in the book. So looks like Chicken Paxo has actually been able to stretch that gap a little bit. And just noticing with Lager's lines, he does seem to be making the odd mistake, just running wide on exits and so on. But it actually does seem to be working to his advantage. Now, whether Paxo made a bit of a mistake here now, I think we might see a chance here. Chicken Paxo was possibly looking a little bit defensive there. Lager decided better of it. Definitely suddenly seemed to have a little bit of pace there. But these guys now are 4.5 seconds up the road from all the other drivers. They are putting down an absolutely steaming pace. So here we go. Lager's right in the slipstream here as we go for the first corner. Can he do it? He's pulling out. He's having a look. Oh, he's forcing he's forcing Chicken Paxo to go defensive. He's gone deep. Chicken Paxo. Can Lager do anything? Can he sweep back as they exit the corner? No, he can't. But he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. So no real opportunities through this section here, but the next obvious one is down into the hairpin at the bottom of the track. So just looking back down the field, it looks like VR46 is getting back onto the rear of R80, but I'm not going to hop to that one while this battle for the lead is so close. And it's great to see Whitesnake is back out of the field. He's about a couple of laps down. I imagine he's gone in for repairs there. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to risk an onboard with Lager. No, we're not. We're going to hop to Bassett because he's only half a second behind Chris V Dub. So always the risk with doing this is that the manoeuvre for the lead will happen while this one. But it does look like Bassett is really all over the back of the green Porsche of Chris V Dub. Chris V Dub running a bit wide on the exit there, taking a bit more curb than is ideal. So can Bassett in the Bentley do anything as they head down towards the chicane? He's getting a good run. Chris, I'd imagine, will go a little bit defensive maybe. No. And the other one that's coming into play, it looks like Chris V Dub is possibly holding up Bassett very slightly, and DB Kung is coming back in to join the party. So this is becoming a three-way battle for third place at the moment, and we're just ticking down over half distance.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
And I'm pleased that the game managed to keep up with my commentary there. So here we go, into turn one. Bassett really giving Chris V Dub a hard time. And as I mentioned before, Chris V Dub's actually using the controller, not a steering wheel and pedal set, so he does an incredible job. Oh, Bassett's looking down the inside there. I thought he was going to take a launch, but decided against it. Now he's taken a bit of a wide entry there on the right-hander, trying to maybe get a better exit. I think this might only be a matter of time, but Chris V Dub is putting up a sterling defence here. Oh, he's looking a little bit wide there, possibly. But no, he's got the power down, just touched the grass there. So here we go, down to the hairpin at the bottom. You can tell that Chris is using the controller because he's not able to be quite as smooth. You notice that in the movement of the car as it works its way along the track. It will be slightly jerkier in movement compared to the other ones behind that are using a steering wheel, which is easier to put smaller inputs and smoother inputs into the steering and pedals. But like I say, Chris VW is doing a stunning job in that green Porsche. But Bazek's in the yellow and blue Bentley is really pushing hard behind. I'm keeping an eye on the battle for the lead. Oh, I think Bazek's might have it here. He's got a really good run. He's going to the outside of the chicane. He's on the wrong side, really, and he can't make it happen, but it's compromised Chris's entry. Now, Bazek's might get down the inside of the final corner, but no, Chris has cut him off. And DB Kung is coming back into the party that have a play as well. So, great defensive work there by Chris VW. So, just hopping up to the front while we're at it. It's action all the way around the track at the moment, but Chicken Paxo looks like he had to put quite a sterling defence there on Talaga because there was only 0.2 as they went across the start line. So that one I think will probably settle down for a few corners, so we'll just hop back to the Bazek's in third and fourth. Sorry, Chris VW in third and Bazek's in fourth. Let's say head down to the S-bend. Chris still putting up great defence there. And here we go, all the way down to the hairpin now. Good downhill run. Up front, Lager has dropped back a little bit from Chicken Paxo. I haven't had that really good go a few corners ago. And the one that has dropped away a little bit here, must have made a mistake unseen by us, is DB Kung, who was on the back of this Bazek's and Chris VW battle. So that's taken the pressure away from Chris VW in case he was expecting a retaliation overtake. Oh, Chris VW has gone really wide there. I think that's the Schumacher S. And he's really compromised his exit there. And Bazek's has got the speed. He's on the inside as they head to the right-hand kink. He's across the grass. Oh, no! Oh, no! They all got it wrong. They both got off the track. Are they going to recover? Chris has recovered, I think, a little bit quicker. I think that's what you put down as a racing incident, but it was wheel-to-wheel racing. And one of them went on the grass on the inside, and then one of them went on the grass on the outside, and they both went off. So after all that, I think up into third has come Banff, but we'll find out as we cross this. No, DB Kung, of course, was behind them in fifth. He's popped up now into third, and he's being chased down by Banff. So that settled things out a little bit from second down, where the real battle now is for the lead. Can Lager do anything about Chicken Paxo? He lost the lead at the start when Chicken Paxo got that better run into turn one, and despite he's been chipping away, he hasn't been able to get past Chicken Paxo's Audi there. So he's got probably about 3 laps to do something about it. So let's find out whether he can. So here we go, round the hairpin and work our way back up the hill through the Schumacher S. I knew I got that wrong. The first one's the Schumacher S. So up to the second S-bend now. This is where Lager has made a couple of looks by getting a better exit, but he doesn't look close enough to me on this occasion. Looking further down, it looks like Chris VW and Bazek's are the two that obviously came together there. They've recovered, but basically they lost 2 places each, but are still in the same order as they were prior to the incident. So, and looking further down, VR46 did actually get by R80 to reclaim 7th place. So here we go. I think probably 2 laps to go. And looks... Oh, speaking of that, Chris V Dub has actually fallen back. Oh, I think he's got some damage on that car. Chris V Dub has fallen back behind Bazix. So it looks like, looking at the front of his car there, that he's picked up a bit more damage, possibly than what Bazix did. And maybe he's got a few more handling problem there, because Bazix has managed to overtake him and does seem to be pulling away quite quickly. So unfortunately, that incident seems to have cost Chris V Dub quite dearly, when it looked like he was actually heading for a podium. So they might just get another 2 laps in, depending on when Chicken Paxo crosses the line. But at the moment, Chicken Paxo looks like he is starting to stretch that lead over Lager. He's got it up to about 1.2 seconds now. And VR46 has had to return to the pit. So having passed R80, that looks like he's dropping him back down the order. Depending on how long he's there, he may fall behind the white snake as well. So depends what he stopped for. But on a short race like this, it won't be tyres. It's more likely to be for damage. So here we go. Coming up to the second timing loop. What's the gap now? It was 1.2 between Paxo and Lager. It's now just over a second. So yep, I think we're going to get 2 more laps. The clock isn't quite going to tick down enough, because these guys are doing about 156, 157 laps. So we're going to get 2 more laps. So at the moment, it looks like Chicken Paxo has got the pace to hold off Lager. Just having a quick look down, doesn't seem to be anything else particularly developing. There's about 2 to 3 seconds between the people from sort of 3rd place down. So I don't see anything radically happening there. VR46 has come back out of the pits and he's retained 8th place at the moment. So everyone else is fairly spread out. So this gap from between Paxo and Lager is definitely stretching. So I think unless Paxo makes a mistake, I think he's probably got this one wrapped up, but that could of course be the commentator's curse. So we'll just move our way quickly through the field. DB Kung, from memory, I think he started in about 4th, got overtaken by Bazix and dropped to 5th, and then benefited from when Bazix and Chris V Dub came together, who were running 3rd and 4th, and which has meant he's been able to pop up and grab the podium. So I'm sure we'll be quite chuffed with that as a result. And then next along we got Banff, who was behind Bazix and is now being caught by Bazix, interesting enough. So we're a lap and a half to go. This might actually change before we get to the finish. But Banff benefited when Chris V Dub and Bazix came together, so he was able to jump up to 4th. And of course we saw Bazix in that great battle with Chris V Dub for several laps. Just unfortunately where they are on the track now, they had a slight coming together. They were both just ran off the edge of the track slightly, and then one spun into the other. So I don't think there was anything any ill wind mentioned, but it was, or intended, but it was just a case that they were on the same bit of tarmac at the same time, unfortunately. And then there's Chris V Dub. He's in 6th place now. He was hanging on to that 3rd, but I think he's carrying quite a bit of damage on that car, because he's been overtaken by Bazix and he's dropped back quite a distance. He's now 9 seconds behind. And leaders have started their final lap. I will just hop to them in a second. And just the course as we've looked away, all the race we've been watching, and Lager decides to do it on the last lap. Now, isn't that annoying? Now, if we're really quick, we might be able to pull something off on the replay. Just bear with me. So here we go. Coming up, I think, for the Schumacher S. Oh, look at that. Chicken Paxo made quite a mistake. And good thinking there by Lager, because he ran wide across the gravel and went for the... we're just having a whiz through the menus there. And he went for the safe option, went across the gravel and did a cracking job. Our great ACC is now playing slow catching up, which I think it does after a replay, I've just realised. So I think we will reset that in a minute. Don't worry, we'll all catch up for you in a second, hopefully. Or possibly not. This is why tonight's all about learning. Well, I can actually say Lager Fanny. Well, I wasn't going to say that all night, and I've just done it. So Lager goes across first. Chicken Paxo is second. Third is DB Kung. He's just coming across the line now. Bazet has got by Banff, so he's recovered after that incident. So he managed to get by into fourth. And then... oh, and then Banff got him back, actually. So Banff back up the fourth. Bazet's down to fifth. Chris V-Dub in sixth. R80 circulating in seventh. There we go. Sorry about this rather poor footage as we've got to the end. This is down to using that replay function, I think. So I think we've learned ourselves a lesson there tonight. And there we go. We've got VR46 and Whitesnake. I think they are actually a lap apart, but they're just working their way up the field. Up the field, they're working their way around the circuit. Get a grip. So here they go, through the right kink, up to the final chicane. And that will complete our first race. So I think we'll go, we'll do commentate on one more race tonight, just to make sure we've got everything running and riding exactly as it should be. Here they go across the line. And next time around, we won't use the replay function. We'll just have to come up with some kind of explanation to ourselves as to why the footage has suddenly gone really slow. Now, I'm just going to have to consider whether to reset the connection, which I think may be the safest option while we're just waiting for this to finish. Just bear with us a second, viewers. We will be with you shortly. It's what the people in the IT department tell you to do is the most important thing, and is to turn it off and on again. So that's what we're going to do here quickly, just to keep things rolling, so we don't get a problem like we did in the first one. If you could see what was happening at this end, it is a complete health and safety nightmare with cables strewn everywhere. So quite how my technical support guy is going around without firing laptops all over the room. I'm quite impressed with. So here we go, back into it. So that was race one. So we've got the same up for you again. We've got a fresh qualifying session for you. So, but there we go. That's the result of the first one. So, just looking in the chat, let's see what they're talking about.
Green light. Go, go, go.
I'm just trying to see. Oh, there was a couple of comings together, and I think Chicken Paxo is slightly upset with himself. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. So there was Lager's not actually making any comment. Oh, VR46 had a bit of an incident last chicane. Unfortunately, he was a passenger on the way to the scene of the accident, I think is the usual description. So here we go. So we're out for qualifying for the second race. Now, obviously, we know from the first race that Lager managed to get it on pole. So why don't we? No, we can't. We'll stick with Chicken Paxo. Let's go. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go on board with. When I get the right view, here we go. Just to give you an on-board view of this Nürburgring circuit. That strip of tarmac there on your left is where the original design of this track joined. That first sort of tight section, the spectator section as I called it, was added a few years after it was originally built. This was built back in the mid-80s. I'm sure you've all seen Rush, the movie, and understand why they don't or stop using the full circuit of Nürburgring. They have obviously retained what was known as a Nordschleife, and this circuit is built on effectively what was the Südschleife. Because obviously, if you've got a north circuit, you've got a southern circuit as well, quite possibly, and this is what this track was built on. And it was really the first of the modern era tracks with, you know, large gravel tracks, better spectator areas, and so on. And it was to an extent the blueprint for the modern era of Formula One. So here we go, down towards, this is really one of the great overtaking opportunities, around this fast kink, and then you're on the brakes for the chicane. It's the fast for the two chicane options. You can see the tighter one there on the left behind the cones. And then if you get somebody to run defensive into that chicane, they could be compromised on their exit, and then they come up to this corner, and you maybe just be able to dive onto them before they get to it. So let's run on board for a full lap, and then we'll start seeing what times are coming in. If that was just their out lap. So here we go. Down to the first corner. Brake really hard down to the first gear. Try and clip that curb on the inside. The track drops away from you. Then up to second gears and then feather it. You're itching to get on the throttle here and then gas it. Not run too wide, otherwise you can see track limits. Then hard on the brakes again, down to first gear. This really tight, this left-hander. And then feathering the throttle as we go out of here, and then running wide, taking as much curb as we can, and then down towards this S section. The first part is a lot quicker than the second. Third gear, and then on, and then down to second. Yeah, you end up braking a lot earlier than what you think I find for that corner. And then here we go, down to the hairpin, and you're desperate to brake as late as possible, and you're trying to pick a point there, and then down probably to first. No, Paxo's using slightly different gearing to what I do, which is probably why he's considerably quicker. And then here we go, back up the hill. Now here we go, he's trying to take a chunk of curb on the inside. Oh, otherwise, that's what happens. He didn't take enough curb on the left-hand entry, and then ran too wide and was across the gravel on the right, and then obviously lost traction. So just bear with me, we've got a very important moment here because the T has just arrived. So here we go. Driver there neatly getting out of Paxo's way. And there we go, up to the chicane, braking around about 100 metres. Cross that first curve, cross the second one, and then up to this final corner. And again, this is one, you're just desperate to get on that throttle, get to that finish line as quick as possible. Now, this is not really going to be a fully representative time there for Paxo. It's the 2 minute. We're looking for stuff down probably in the 156s. So I'm just going to move around a few views. Sorry for that. Hope you're not. No, we don't want to do that. Just bear with me a second. There we go. That's what we were looking for. We got there in the end, didn't we? Right. So at the moment, DB Kung is in pole. Bazit's in second, and Banff is in third. Now, I think we're going to be looking at times more in the mid 156, possibly even in the low 156. Somebody we know who is like to be quick is Lager. So let's just see who is out there at the moment. Lager's on his first lap, VR 46 at 2. R80 hasn't put anything in as yet. So let's have a hop. So Lager's on his lap. So he will have just gone by the first timing section. I don't know if it'll give it to us yet. No, it won't. We need to do the full lap. So let's see what Lager can do. We've got less than a minute remaining. So really, the only two drivers out there that, or three drivers, sorry, are Paxo, Lager and VR46 that are going to be able to post times. Everybody else is in the pits. Now, Chicken Paxo's time of 2 minutes there hasn't actually registered, but that would have been because he exceeded track limits probably with that speed. So, and his time went red, which is why he wasn't able to claim that time. So here we go. Lager's coming up to the line. Oh, Basics has put in a 1:56.1 cracking time there. And Chicken Paxo goes second by 5/100ths of a second. It is so tight up the top there. Basic's really got some pace in his Bentley now. And the last one coming to the line. Oh, sorry, I got that. Chicken Paxo was second. Lager was third. So he's even more wrong-footed than he was in the first race. So he's going to start from the second row. And then VR46 is out there. Now, I think Lager may have crossed the line with a little bit of time left to go. So let's have a look how he's... So he's not quickest. He's not purple in any of his sectors, which is very surprising. Now, where is he losing the most? He's fairly quick in the second sector. He's fairly quick in it's the first sector which was costing him over, particularly Chicken Paxo. He's about 0.6 of a second adrift there. So he can put another lap in. The other one is VR46, who is out on circuit still. Let's see where he is. So VR46 working his way back up the hill. So let's have a look. Oh, I think we were seeing VR46. Oh, that's VR46's efforts over. So Chicken Paxo is also still on the lap. The time couldn't have run out when he was when he crossed the line. So he's coming up to the final corner now. And just behind him is Lager. So here we go. Chicken Paxo to the line. No, he hasn't gone any quicker. And Lager coming to the line. And he goes pole by 0.33 of a second. Fantastic lap there. So he managed to sort out all these problems from the first first fast lap that he put in. And that first sector, he really got sorted out. So I'm just going to frantically try and see if we can sort out the view ready for the race. So if you just bear with me 1 second, we'll go with that one and with a certain amount of hope that we will have that for the race. So here we go, same again, 20-minute race, no pit stops, it's a full-on sprint, lights the flag. So just to remind you, if you want to get involved more with Race Club, look them up on Facebook. There's a very, very active group on there. We have a weekly race at this time on a Tuesday. So we have a free practice from 7:30 and then qualifying from 8:30. The most regular format will be a 20-minute and 40-minute race. And if you want to get involved, get on there, join the group, get chatting to everybody on there. Everyone's very friendly. The new season is starting next week. So if you want to get involved, now is your time to get on to Facebook and join the group. So, interestingly, a few drivers there decided against putting in a lap time. I don't know particularly what that strategy was, whether they felt they wouldn't be that far up the grid and decided it was better just to stay in the pits and save their efforts for later on. That may well have been the case. I'll just have a quick look in the chat of the guys that are in the group already. No, nothing fresh in there. We got anything happening on YouTube? No. Basic's still saying I sound great, and that's what I like to hear. So here we go, working our way down the grid. Now I'm going to see if I can risk getting the view that I want. Oh, it's a brave thing, but I've done it. So here we go. So that's our grid. So that's, as you're looking on your screen, the black BMW with the silver striping is Lager. He's on pole position. That's where he was last race. And we have a change. In second is Bazix. So he's obviously got a little bit more in tune with that Bentley. And then in third place, sat there in the lime green Audi behind Lager, is Chickapazzo, who led that first race for so long. And then DB Kung, again in fourth place. Banff is in fifth. Sixth is Chris V-Dub in the Porsche, who had that great battle with Bazix in the first race. And then seventh is Whitesnake. And then VR46 and JR80 is rounding the field off in ninth. So we've got a 20-minute race. We're just waiting for them to set off as they do on their warm-up lap. Be trying to get the heat in the tyres, heat in the brakes, so it's not all the big surprise when they get to that first corner. So round turn one, quite a tricky little corner, that braking from a high speed to a low speed, and then it drops off almost like a mini cliff as you turn across the apex there, which does make the car go light. And then round this, what I think is a little bit of a Mickey Mouse spectator section. I don't think it adds an awful lot to the circuit, if I'm honest. We will risk to try and... Oh, there we go. We'll go for the aerial shot, which I'm hoping is going to provide us some really great footage for the start. On the other hand, it could all go horribly wrong. So the other thing you see from this shot is the change in elevation on this circuit. How much it drops down to the bottom where the hairpin is. And then they have to work their way all the way back up the hill to where the start finishes. So this hairpin occasionally can provide an overtaking manoeuvre. If you've got a car in front of you maybe that's just run a little bit deep or something like that, you can give you an opportunity to dive down the inside. So they work their way around there and then start their way back up the hill towards the Schumacher S, which is really, really quick. If you've got your car set up right, you can get through here flat out. You need to run the curbs though to be able to do that. And that's where it can just end up in a little bit of tears if you're not careful. So drivers accelerating, braking, trying to get some heat into their brakes, ready for that first corner. Whitesnake's decided to start from the pits, or he was off making himself a coffee and didn't realise that the race was starting and didn't press the go button. So he'll join from the back of the field. So we're coming down towards the final part of the circuit now. Drivers will start to line up side by side. Lager will be on the left side as you're looking at it, because he will be on the inside to the first corner. Basic's pulling up alongside him, so they're all just sorting themselves out. I have a little bit of work to do this time compared to last time. Chris V-Dub, he's down there I think in 6th, where he was a little bit further up last time. So through the chicane, you can see the tighter Formula 1 chicane there in the background. And then pit entry there just at the bottom of your screen. And then as you look at the top of your screen, you'll see a left corner going off, and that's the entry onto the Nordschleife. And as we come around this corner, you'll see where the track there on the corner joins in from the Nordschleife when they do the 24-hour race. So here we go. That's the history lesson over. This is the race starting. So they're side by side. We're waiting for the green light, and we are away. Great start by Chicken Paxo from third. He's got down there, but between Bazix and Largo. And from the front row, it looks like Bazix has got the better start. 3 wide. This is going to be a little bit tight. Banff looking to the inside of Chicken Paxo as well. But they've all got away with it. Went deep, but managed to get the lead there. So Bazix slotting in behind him. DB Kung looking a bit racy up the inside there in the blue Ferrari. Trying to get inside Bazix in the lime green Audi. So here we go. They're all very much still in the order they started the race. So, Chris V Dub though, he's up to 5th, and he looks like he's trying to go on the inside of DB Kung now, just on the edge of your screen, looking quite racy. So now they're working their way down the hill. Now it looks like Bazix possibly has a little bit of a run on Largo here. Now remember from last race, Largo wasn't quickest out blocks. And then, oh no, we've had a small incident there. It looks like DB Kung and Chris V Dub have come together. So we're just going to quickly return to the garage and head back to where those drivers are. So they're getting going again. And in the background, that's Whitesnake, who starts in the pit lane. So that's DB Kung and Chris V Dub down to the back of the field. So we will move back up towards the front. So Largo in the lead, followed by Bazix. Now a little bit of a gap there to Chicken Paxo in third. DB Kung no, DB Kung's not full, because that will update as we cross the timing line just there on your screen now. So through the chicane. Yep, so Chicken Paxo third, Banff is fourth, VR46 up to 5th. Great position for him. He had a tough first race, but he looks like he's doing well there now. So we should see whether DB Kung and Chris V Dub can come back from that. So there we go, 1 lap in the book. Leaders coming up to turn 1. Bazix seeming to be able to keep pace with Largo this time round. Be interested to see whether Chicken Paxo can catch these two up and make it a 3-way battle for the lead. So let's just have a quick change of view as Bazix all go very deep on the brakes there. So we'll go on board quickly with Bazix. See whether there's any particular part of the circuit where he's a little bit quick. Oh, he was looking to go under Largo there at the right hand as they head down towards the hairpin, but I always think that was a little bit optimistic. But if the door's open, you can always, give it a little bit of a shove. So let's just move to the shot I'm looking for, which is that one. So here we go. Looks like Chicken Paxo just dropping off maybe a little bit from these two. Bazix just 0.3 of a second behind Largo, so he's looking to give him quite a hard time. And I know these two have had some battles in the past, so I'll imagine they're looking to do the same again. Now, the other battle I'm noticing just a bit further down is Chris V Dub in 8th. He's right on DB Kung for 7th place. Now, these two came together at the hairpin, and the fact that Chris V Dub was waiting, I would assume possibly it was down to him, and that's the rules we run with this, that if you take somebody else out, you need to wait for them to get back on the track so you don't gain an advantage. Oh, Chris V Dub very late on the brakes there. I thought he was going to give another nudge to DB Kung, but they kept it all together. But he's got a good exit speed from the last corner, and his green Porsche there, he's looking like Chris may have a go. No, Is he trying to go around the outside? It would give him the inside for the next corner, but no, he can't quite get enough traction to do that one. While these two are fighting, I will just hop across to note that R80 is just a little bit behind BR46. So, but I don't think he doesn't look quite like he's pushing him hard. So we will pop back to Chris V Dub and DB Cum. So head down towards the hairpin. Chris is trying to look a bit racy, I think, but it was fairly close between these two in the first race, so I've no reason to suspect it's going to be anything different in the second race. And we've just slipped over quarter race distance. We'll just pop back up with the leaders just to see whether anything is changing up there. But we'll try and keep an eye out on what's happening with everything else as well. Now it looks like, interestingly, that Lager is pulling away very slightly from Bassett, but the one that is dropping away, I'm surprised by, is Chickapacso. He's nearly 2 seconds back from Bassett, so I thought he might be a little bit closer, but maybe he's just made a little mistake and he's just trying to catch up. The other thing is, we're getting, as you can see by the shadows, we're getting a little bit later in the evening now, so the temperature will be dropping, so that may just affect the setup and tyre pressures that these drivers have got, and it may be favouring some rather than others. So perhaps that's why Lager and Bassett just have a little bit more pace, but it may change as the race goes on. We're about third race distance now, so we will just shoot down and see whether the Chris V Dub DB Cum battle is bubbling up. It looks like Chris has no problem keeping up. However, he doesn't seem to quite have that little bit of extra pace to be able to get by. Now, in this position, I assume realistically the only thing he can do is try and keep there and hope that DB Cum makes a mistake. Now, I'm just getting an eye up front because Bassett has actually dropped a little bit away from Lager. But Chickapacso in third, just behind Bassett, he's catching him. Yeah, he's got the gap to under a second, so there might be a little bit of action bubbling up there. So we'll keep an eye on this battle for the moment, but the battle for the lead does look like it is closing up just a little bit. And they're working their way towards the second timing sector, so I'll see what the times are like after they shot through there. So yeah, they're running very similar. About a second between first, second and third. That's Lager, Bassett and Chickapacso. So they're keeping fairly honest between each other, but I will jump to that in a minute because that looks like the tightest battle we've got on the track at the moment, apart from this one with Chris V Dub. So hop back up to the leaders. Just whether Chris V Dub is close enough to try and make a lunge at the first corner, but I don't think he's quite close enough. He needs to have the front bumper of his Porsche right up under the rear wing of that Ferrari. So let's just hop up to the front and we'll sit with Bassett for now, just to see how things develop in front and behind him. So we're not far off half distance already, so with this 20-minute race, it's unlikely that tyre wear will be a major factor, but you know, it's possible, depending on their driving style, one of them may take a bit more out of it than the others. So as time goes on, it might mean that the race will come to one of these three, because Bassett's in second and Chickapacso in third really aren't letting Lager in his Bentley up front get away, so they are setting quite a stunning pace here. Let's just see where the lap times are. No, of course we haven't got lap times. I forgot about that. It gives us intervals, not lap times. So I was getting you all excited for some data there, and then it just didn't happen. But these three are very, very consistent. Chris V Dub still sat behind DB Kung in 7th and 8th. So that little battle there is fairly static at the moment. So here we go, across the line. 5 laps in the book. Still roughly a second between first, second and third. So
We are at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
and thanks to the pit radio there, it just reminds me we've just tipped over halfway. So as Murray Walker was saying, with half the race gone, we've got half the race to go. So JR80 in 6th, and our wrist has popped in because the thing that happens is, as soon as you do that, something happens elsewhere on the track. So he is becoming a lot more consistent there, R80. He's just behind VR46. And for those of you watching who are into GT7, Race Club's sister group, which is Flat Out E-Racing, which is somebody else who I've done commentating for in the past, they are the guys to go to for GT race or GT Sport or GT7 racing. John Riley's one of the admins there. They put on a couple of events a week, usually one on a Wednesday and one on a Sunday. So if you want to join a fun and friendly league for GT7, look up Flat Out E-Racing and you can join their series there. They usually got a couple going at any one time. I think there's a new one just about to start off. So if you want to get involved, look them up. So I'm going to hop back to the front because the gaps look like they are tightening up, which may mean that the guys in second, Bazits, and third, Chicken Paxo, are just getting a little bit more pace out of their cars as the race goes on. So we've got probably 5 laps to go. So just looking down, JR80 has actually dropped a little bit behind VR46, so he's going to do some work to catch up. And the same with Chris V Dub in 8th, who's just dropped away from DB Kung into 7th. So that seems to have settled out those positions further down. So we'll stick with this battle for the lead. It's almost a little bit Scalextric here because these guys are just so consistent, aren't they? We need one of them to be able to just get that a little bit closer maybe and pressure the one in front into making a mistake. And in fact, if anybody's getting closer, it looks like Bazlix is actually winding his way up onto the back of Lager there. And Chicken Paxo in third in the Audi, he's just dropping back a little bit. So maybe what we could do to liven this up is have a sprinkler system, which was the great idea once put forward by Bernie Eccleston to liven up Formula One. So we could have like a random sprinkler session to wet the track after so many laps. That would certainly have an effect, wouldn't it? Not sure that's something that ACC are planning to bolt into the game, or at least not in the near future. So here we go, up to the chicane. Towards the final corner and to complete 7 laps. So that will be Lager Fanning. Oh, I wasn't going to do it. I nearly did the Lager in first, Bassett in second, and Chicken Paxo third. And just in the second part of that lap, they just stretched themselves out from each other just a little bit. So just looking down, it looks like 2 guys that have fallen away, which was R80 and Chris V Dub in 6th and 8th, who were respectively chasing the ones in front of them, have actually caught back up a little bit. So we may hop across there in a minute because this, subject to a mistake, this battle for the lead does seem to have settled out. actually not a particularly spread group here, because behind R80 it's only 2.5 seconds back to DB Cook. So these 4 drivers are running fairly close together on track. In fact, the only one that's out of position is Whitesnake, who actually started from the pits. And Banff is having a little bit of a lonely race there in 4th. He's dropped 11 seconds behind Chicken Packs though, and he's nearly 5 in front of VR46, so he's fairly safe at the moment. It's just this battle a little bit further down. Oh, just to say, there's VR46 spins round. Oh no, and he's collected R80. I don't know how much damage it's done to the front of that Lexus. It doesn't look very happy, the front of the Lexus. Unfortunately, that was just a racing incident. So the ones that gained from that were DB Kung and Chris V Dub, who've gone through to 5th and 6th. So, oh no, Chris V Dub is still in the background there. So he wasn't able to gain anything from that, because the driver that went round was VR46. But now, obviously, R80 will have picked some damage up there, hitting the side of VR46. But with just probably 3 laps to go, there's no point in him pitting, because that'll cost him about a minute. So he's better to battle on with the damage he's got. So DB Kung is up to 5th, and as I say, R80 managed to get back on the track in front of Chris V Dub, but I think he is now carrying a lot of damage. So I would imagine Chris V Dub there in the green Porsche is going to be all over the back of R80 very, very quickly. It's actually almost bringing back into play Whitesnake in 9th, because he's now only 8 seconds behind VR46. Because obviously VR46 lost an awful lot of time there as he spun. So I'll be interested to see how much. Oh yeah, and as I predicted, R80 ran wide there because he's carrying a lot of damage and the car's not handling what he expected. So Chris V Dub has slid through there, and he's up to 6th place. So just as we thought it had all quietened down, it's suddenly livened up again. So we'll hop back up to the front, because they are on their penultimate lap. So less than a second now between Bassett and Lager, but I think unfortunately almost metronomic consistency of Lager up front is proving that probably a mountain slightly too high for Bassett to climb as they come round. Oh no, we've got 2 laps to go. It's not, they're starting their penultimate lap. So Bassett has about 4 minutes to play with of racing time to maybe do something to change the result of this race. Chicken Pack though dropping away a little bit in the background there. He's nearly 2 seconds adrift now at Bassett, so I think Bassett's in 2nd. Oh, getting really close there on braking into that little tight section. So has Bassett possibly been saving his tyres for one last battle? If he's got anything, he's only got a lap and a half to deploy it. So take the late apex there, maybe trying to get a good drop down the corner. But it looks like Lager's possibly turned the wick up a little bit. Gap 0.9 of a second. And as Murray used to say, catching's one thing, passing's another. So, and Bassett doesn't seem to quite catch Lager on the pace that he's got. And Chicken Paxo is hanging on in the background there, but it seems to be this consistent 1 second gap between the front 3, and they're obviously pushing the limit there because they ran extremely wide coming out the left-hand section of that S. So there we go, up to the 2nd timing slot. Looks visually like Bassett is a little bit closer. Yeah, the gap's down to 0.6 of a second. So here we go, last lap. If Bassett has got anything, now is the time he's going to have to unleash it. Just have a look down the cars further down the field. Everyone's pretty spread out. So if there's going to be any action, it's going to be up the front here.
He's on the final lap. Give it a final push.
So there we go. We'll stick with Bazix. Can he do anything? Down to the first corner. He really needs to work hard on trying to get Lager to, be forced into some kind of mistake in his black Bentley there. You know, from first race and from my watching of and racing against Lager in the past, he's a very, very consistent driver, though he's unlikely to throw it away just under pressure, but you never know. Checo Paxo made that mistake in the first race. So here we go, up to the left-right chicane, as we then head down towards the hairpin. Can Bazix put one last launch in to get down the inside? I think it'll need a run wide by Lager, just on an exit or an entry, just to lose a bit of speed to give him that opportunity. Checo Paxo, I think, is out of it. He's about 1.5 seconds behind. But Bazix, in this second half of the track, does seem to be that little bit quicker. He did seem to have good speed through this chicane up here. So, if he can do something through here, he may just be able to get close enough to get a little bit of a toe. You never know, maybe able to get up alongside. Here we go. This is the last chance, really. And he is close. Look at it, flashing his headlights, but that won't rattle Lager. Lager's not even going defensive, he's that confident. So gap down to 0.4 of a second. So that second half of that definitely quicker for Bazix, but just not quick enough. So here we go, round the final corner. So here we go, up to the finishing line. So Lager takes the win from just
The leader has finished the race.
0.3 of a second from Bazix. Checo Paxo in the lime green Audi comes across third. Basically, these three finished the race as they started. Banff coming through in fourth, a little bit of a lonely race for him. The three in front pulled away, and he had a clear gap for the ones behind. Second race in succession, DB Kung has. Oh no, DB Kung had that coming together with Chris Feed up, didn't he? So, but then obviously VR46 and R80 came together, which meant that they dropped behind both DB Kung and Chris V Dub. So despite having that incident on the first lap, DB Kung and Chris V Dub got back up to where they were before, which was in 5th and 6th. So R80 was in 7th, VR46 in 8th, and Whitesnake come across the line in 9th. Now, I'm afraid that is where we are going to have to wrap up our coverage tonight. So, thank you very much all for watching. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we'll be back to see you next week, Tuesday night, 8:30 PM. Take care in the meantime, everyone.